Network. Today's special conversation is brought to you by me, Bob Hiller. I would love to be in the moment with you today. And today's in the moment conversation is about staying in things, places, people, relationships. And we know these aren't resonating with us anymore. Let's get into it, shall we? If you're new here, make sure you are subscribed. Join the family. We are growing, and I'm so excited to see new members show up on this platform. So, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, also double tap, double tap, double tap. Okay. So, I really wanted to get in and speak from my own personal experience because, as a spiritual healer, intuitive, child of God, I have learned that sitting in my position is the level up, is the upgrade. Now, what do I mean by that? When you go through certain experiences, God will use you as a pillar, as a beacon of light for others. And so, this message is brought to you by my own personal experiences and what I've learned to heal being in incongruent relationships. Hi, welcome in. And so I want you, yes, you, to think of a time when you outgrew a relationship. How did you maneuver your way out of this? Okay, I want you to comment that below. Hi, welcome, welcome in. If you're new here, make sure you are subscribed. Okay, or you don't have to, honey. It's up to you, darling. It's up to you, darling, what you want to do. Okay? Because I'm blessed, baby. How are you? Because truthfully, that's the whole point of this conversation. As being in incongruent relationships. And I personally, story time, have found myself in a few. One of which kind of looks similar to how you're presenting yourself. You know? You hop on my vibe, okay? You start admiring from afar. I'm like, who's this being of light? Let me see what this is about. I know a few of you. I dated a few of you, honey. Okay? Okay? Can we get real on here? Can I be honest? Baby, I done had a few that seen me but didn't know what to do with me, honey. Okay? I done had a few who were my number one fans and number one haters. Okay? I done had a few. And what you'll learn is that they always want the secret sauce. Yes, baby. They always want the secret sauce. You just gotta learn if they're worth sharing it. And so through my journey, I've learned everybody can't get the secret sauce. Mm-mm. Everybody can't get the secret sauce. Now, don't get me wrong. I had to learn. Yes, baby, I'm full of light. I'm full of light, love, and laughter. Hello. Okay. But I've learned through my experiences how to trust my gut, how to rely on my intuition. We're going to get into some things. Can we get into some things? Tap if this is resonating, honey. And tap if you're new here. Okay? When the relationship starts to feel stale, it's either time to make a shift or it's time to quit. Anything in life that is not growing or transforming is dying. And some of y'all are still in dead relationships. Yes, baby, double tap, double tap. Yes, that's how I know you're participating. That's how I know we're conversating. This is a screen, but I'm really in your house. Okay, I'm really on your phone. Okay, so engage with me, baby. Talk to you, girl. Because the thing is, I think a lot of us need a reality check. You keep going through these self-sabotaging cycles and your relationship dynamics because you're not recognizing you're outgrowing these people. It's time to level up, babe. I know I'm resonating, baby. Double tap, double tap, double tap. I remember in my 20s, I went through this phase, darling, where I wanted to hang out with everybody, honey. It was like, oh, I just moved to a new city, honey. Let's have a time. Let's have a key. And I'm a fire sign. Honey, them trucks, them cyber trucks be looking crazy. They look like literal demonic entities, but that's another conversation. Stay out of them Elon Musk cars, honey. Okay, them is some death traps. Okay. Anyway, in my 20s, back to story time. I was trying to just have a ball, have fun, okay? And I remember my granny used to tell me years ago, she used to say, baby, the only true friend you got is your sister, is your cousins, okay? But you can only have one best friend in life. Just one. And I used to be so confused, like, Granny, what do you mean? Like, and what she was trying to get me to understand is that the level up requires selectivity. Come on. The level up requires an election. Yes, you can't just choose to hang out with everybody. You gotta choose wisely, honey. birds of a feather, they be flocking together. And so I went through this phase, darling. Oh, I love you too, baby. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the family, babe. Welcome to the family, darling. It's a luxury and abundance over here. And today we are talking about falling out of these relationships that no longer are congruent with our goals, with where God is taking us. And quite honestly, they never really were on our level. But we have grace and gratitude because they helped us elevate to the place that we are now. That's what we talking about. Okay? So, I'm just sharing my personal experience of elevating and learning my lesson. Okay? And so God was taking me through this period before I became in this leadership position as a spiritual healer. And God was showing me that where you're going requires a character that a lot of people can't get jiggy with. If you catch where I'm going with this. Certain things you can't do when you're chosen. I don't think you understand. When you are divinely gifted and God has a purpose on your life, you can't just be hanging with everybody. And it becomes a form of self-sabotage when you start allowing full access to your energy to everybody. Now your focus is here. Now they got you going here. Now you gotta go over there. You gotta Spirit wants your attention. And you're energetically depleted because you're in incongruent relationships. Even how you show up, honey. Some of y'all are in dynamics where you can't even show up. I remember I used to be, for an example, I used to be hiding my light because the homegirls I was hanging with couldn't keep up to my flow. Can we get into some things, honey? You be hanging around some homegirls or even some homeboys where you start looking good. You got your hair done, nails did, you got your outfits together, honey, and all of a sudden it's a problem. Now all of a sudden your beauty and your reflection of self-love and self-care is a trigger to them. Baby, I know I get you going, honey. I know. I know I'm hitting the message. I know you're watching, okay? And so what I had to learn is that that was a form of self-sabotage for me. Okay? Hanging out with people who want me to only vibrate in my lower self was a form of self-sabotage for me. And so I learned very shortly that when you're in relationships with people who let's say this, are unequally yoked. Okay, there ain't much for y'all to talk about with drama. You only got a toxic bond. You only share negative memories or somebody you don't like in common. Hmm. You was struggling when you met him, and then when you started elevating, now y'all can't meet up. The things ain't working out. Now that person don't find you attractive when you start working on your self-love and self-care. Honey, these are the things that will show you that person wasn't for you. That relationship wasn't for you. Baby, I found myself in friendship dynamics where I was giving, darling. I was, being the cheerleader, the best friend, the stylist, darling, the motivational coach, the therapist. And baby, what was I getting back? Oh, bitch, you think you cute. Oh, you think you know everything. Why you always gotta be well dressed every time I call you, honey? Huh? But I'm your biggest fan. I'm supporting you. How could you not love me? No, honey, how could you not love yourself? To surround yourself with a bunch of haters. You know what I learned real quick in those relationships? Is that a person that does not love themselves will hate you when you show them love. Come on. I said a person who does not love themselves will show you hate when you show them love. That's just the way it goes, babe. And so we've been moving to the beat of the society of low self-esteem. A society wrapped in insecurity will only create more self-harm. And it's you that has to take that initiative to be your biggest supporter and surround yourself with people who celebrate you and not just tolerate you. Baby, when you're a part of the Heal a Heart Network, you must be selective with your heart and who you give it to. And we talking people, place, things, hobbies, experiences. Be selective because our heart is sensitive. Come on, you got a sensitive heart, honey. I know you do. Behind the mask, behind the facade, I know your heart is sensitive. I can see through you. Go ahead and double tap for me too. While you at it, while you hit, go ahead and double tap for you, girl. Come on, come on. Don't be a hater, be a supporter. Okay, it's free to support me. Okay, come on now. And you can subscribe, but I ain't gonna pressure you into a relationship. You see, because that's how we end up in those incongruent relationships. I want this to be ease, baby. Yes. If you feel drawn to subscribe to me, if you liking this vibe, go ahead and subscribe. But if you're just here for a good time, not a long time, babe, just at least double tap. You feel me? At least you're a little love in your heart. Come on. Yeah. Should I put a little love in your heart? Come on. And we're walking around depleted. Most of us. That's why when you walk into a human being that actually has love, you question it. Honey, why is this person being so nice to me? They just bought me a free coffee. What, they must want some. No, baby. When we show up and we show out with love, we raise the collective frequency. Come on. We raise the vibration of the earth. That's the real work. Then we start to attract and manifest relationships that are in alignment with our highest selves. Okay? That means you got to stop dressing for your haters. Some of y'all wake up and be like, I don't care what these people think. I'm going to just put on whatever. Honey, your highest self likes luxurious clothes. Okay? And I'm not talking about expensive. Talking about good fabrics that feel good, that make you feel confident, and colors that make you feel vibrant, that make you feel important. You are somebody. And you show up and are showing up or have been showing up in the past in a level of low self-esteem. That's why you keep attracting these relationships that are not vibrating when you do rise to the occasion. When you do put it on, that's when you start to notice who's been benefiting from you taking it off. But can we really get into a real conversation? That's what I'm saying. You've been dressing for your haters. You've been dressing for relationships where you know it's like, oh, if I put this on, they're going to make a joke. Okay, if I get my hair done this certain way, it's going to be a problem. They're going to be hating on me. So I'm just going to stop dimming your shine for the haters in the room. That's the reason to turn it up, honey. When you recognize that you're putting yourself in a box because of who's watching, you'll realize you're being inauthentic. And that's why you're not attracting your soul family. Spirit wants you to be free to be yourself so that you can align with the right timeline, so that you can align with the people that get your flow, you know? Instead of forcing relationships that don't fit your best self. Now, don't get me wrong. Certain relationships have the capacity to go within for powerful transformation together. But it takes two. It takes the group. It takes all of you to rise to a vibrational frequency that is of love, unity, fairness, and good character. Because some of these relationships you're in can only happen at the dark time. Yeah, Bobby knowing. Some of these relationships can only work when you're in your dark energy, when you're on your low frequency. Honey, when you're on your last penny, that's the only time it can work. I had this homegirl who, anytime I would level up, she didn't want to hang out no more. But as soon as I was down bad, honey, oh, what do you need? I'm here for you. Oh. And at first I thought, wow, she really cares for me. Like, what a great friend. But then I started putting two together and I started seeing, honey, if I stay up, you stay away. Honey, if I'm in my bag, you're nowhere to be found. Isn't that interesting? But you're here as a shoulder to cry on and a listening ear to hear all my business. Wasn't that nuts? Oh, I love you. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you are subscribed. And so the moral of the story is hang with people that can transform with you. Okay, in our previous lives, we talk about the signs of when you're transforming and how you start to see these relationships drop off, darling. What about the ones you are holding on to? How do we let those go? Now, I don't typically have a problem with walking away from love relationships. That's thanks to my daddy. He taught me really well. And he just ghost, just let it go. But I had to learn how to completely close out those relationships without ghosting people. Talking to you. When you realize that a relationship has come to its end and you learn the lesson and it's time to elevate, how do you close out those relationships with respect for where it was? A healthy goodbye. And on one good time, it's all you need, honey. You don't need to be drawing it out now. Okay. And it's also about identifying the patterns that we attract in our relationships. Because we're sending out these EMTs, these signals to people when we walk about. We don't even have to say anything, honey. We don't have to say anything. But you just know. You just know. This person's a lot. This person is giving the same behavioral patterns that I don't respect. Are we subscribed if we're making comments like that? If not, okay, and keep it cute. Because boundaries is love, and I love you. So I'm gonna let you know how it goes on this platform. Either you support or you keep it cute. That's it. Those are the two choices that you got. So we're subscribed, okay? So we should know I'm psychic. And I would never play with the child of God. It will not go well for you. I've seen it time and time again. That's another reason why you got to get out of these incongruent relationships, because you could be cursing the person you're in a relationship with. Honey, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, okay? I hate to make my exes an example, but I love you. Shout out to my exes for helping me learn lessons, honey. Okay, I was in a relationship with the ex, and God was like, "You need to get out of this relationship." And I was like, "No, this man got that bomb. I can't leave. I can't. What are you talking about, honey? He's got the bomb, and so what? He doesn't really know you personally, God, and so what if, like, we're never gonna get married? I still can't get off this relationship, and so what if he is my personal hater and dictator? I'm still not getting up off this man. Yes." You know what God said to me, y'all? I'm sure you can figure it out. You know what he said? He said, "You know the man you with is not your husband, right?" Hello. Yes. I said, "What?" I mean, I kind of do that, but he said, "Yeah, I can give you something better than that, right? Because what he's giving you, please." I was like, "God." He told me about the woman at the well, and she had been married like 5 times. He told me that story about that. And I went and looked at that story, and I was like, wow, dang. And Jesus came to her. He came to her. in front of people at a time where that was totally inappropriate. Hi, baby. Welcome in. And he said, no, let me tell you something. You've been married this many times, honey. Let me tell you why it ain't gonna work. Listen, Jesus is so the truth. Okay, and we'll just let me tell you. The most important thing that God kept showing me about that relationship that was growing apart was that there is no spiritual protection. Hello. There is no spiritual protection in a relationship dynamics that is unequally yoked. Mm-mm. Okay. And what I learned very shortly is that I was going to be under, and he was going to be under, surely, spiritual attack. Not because of me, but because of God. And when you are dating a child of God or you're in a relationship and God wants you to be somewhere else and this person is keeping you from being somewhere else, honey, you are literally cursing them. I'm not even kidding. You are putting a curse on their life. And here's the signs. Can we get into the signs of you curse the person that you're dating because God doesn't want you to be with them? It's not funny, but honey, it was funny to watch, honey. It was so funny to watch because what you'll notice is you're untouched. Okay? It's all happening to them. You're getting the message in watching. You're going to have to watch the person that you love or think is supposed to work go through these experiences because they're not for you. And God has probably already revealed that to both of y'all. But that person won't let up. Either they're still abusing the relationship or they're still taking advantage of you. And God is like, not my child. Not today. Come on. And so what you'll see is you'll be untouched and that person will be going through hell on earth. Baby, I'm talking to somebody. I know I'm talking to somebody right now. Okay? And you'll be watching them go through hell on earth. And you're going through it right now. You're watching them go through hell on earth. And you're like, dang, honey, that is just tragic. Mm. Okay, I watched an ex of mine lose everything that he valued because he would not commit to me. And I promise you, it wasn't me forcing it, praying for it. I literally was like, okay. As soon as God was like, all right, it's time for you to make some changes. Of course, there were some steps that needed to happen in between the time. I immediately started pulling back my energy. I let that person know, hey, this ain't gonna work. God's not telling me this is meant to be. And in order to protect you, I'm gonna neglect you. Okay, I'm gonna pull back. And that person wouldn't get up off me, honey. Okay? Because I got that good. All right, they couldn't get up off me. And I was just like, okay, all right, well, fine. If you want to. If you still, I know, God know, but whatever. All bad, honey. They lost everything. And I saw it and I watched it and I witnessed it and I was like, ooh. And God warned me. It was like, you better stop. I had other people who were wise counsel come to me and be like, look, you gotta stop. Because this person ain't gonna stop. And if you don't stop, you gonna leave them in. And I was like, okay, all right, fine. All right, fine. As soon as my connection with them broke off, their whole life went through so many situations and mine started to elevate. God started to, everything God told me and promised me I was going to get, I'm getting most of it. Honey, we still there. Okay. We're still working on the other part, but, God isn't a liar. And so what I learned was anytime that I've been in a relationship, and it may not even, that taught me in like an intimate relationship. But on the platonic space, I have seen real friendships where people did me wrong. Hey, because I didn't recognize that I was on a different level or a different frequency, or God was taking me to a place and they were very jealous, or I was going to a place and I didn't see that and they knew I was outgrowing the relationship. And so they would start doing little things, honey. And so many times I would just not do nothing. I'm telling you, I'm not a vengeful person. I'll just let them do it because I know how far God will go for me. You'll lose it all, honey. You will literally lose it all over a comment. You will literally lose it all over trying to one up me. You will literally lose it all trying to take it all from me. I've seen it. And I've so much that I have like disconnected from those relationships, moved on, had my life, and other people will come to me and be like, bro, you see X, Y, and Z is down bad? Did you see on that Instagram? Did you see that business? Okay, it's going under. And I'd be like, no, I wasn't even paying attention, honey. I've been so focused and invested on God's vision for my life. I promise you that I haven't even had time to look back. Baby, I haven't had time to even turn around and look back. But here you are telling me. So I might have to get you up out of my space. But, the messenger will always come and be like, oh, baby, he was right. Or you see how God got them for you? I'm just like, oh. I've even prophesied to other people when they wanted to get vengeance. Honey, don't do it. And they called me like, bro, you were so right. You are so right. Oh, such and such person. Because God touched it. And it's like, yeah, God is a merciful God, but don't play with God. I'm telling you, do not play with God at all. Don't play with God, especially about me, because God does not play about me. And so, knowing this, I've had to have a certain level of responsibility where I can't just be hanging out with everybody. Mm. If you're a liability to God's legacy that He's producing in me, you gotta go. I said, if they are a liability to the legacy that God is birthing in you, they gotta go. Holla. See you later, alligator. And sometimes it's family members. Baby, I hate to say it. Sometimes it's your cousin. Oh, honey, those be the most painful ones, honey. How we share the same blood, but you and I. How was we at Granny's house and you was being a hater too? I don't get it. How's we sharing? We was in the mud at Granny's house, and now you throwing dirt on my name, honey. Yes, baby, I've been through it all. I've had to heal. Okay, and when you're the healer, you're really not welcomed in your own home. Okay, when you're a prophet, you're really not welcomed in your own home. Yes, honey. Someone said most of the time it is family members. Yes, it is. Preach on it. It definitely is. It be the closest people to you trying to cut you. Cut them off, honey, before they cut you off from your blessing. Because see, where God wants to take you, a lot of people can't go, or they're too selfish, they're too ungrateful to expand their horizons. Child, that was somebody I knew. I said, how do you know where I'm living? Child, I thought that was so a family member outside my door. Like, who? Black people, we don't. You can't just be showing up, popping up without a call, honey. Okay. So why are you still staying in relationships that you know you've outgrown? If it isn't self sabotage, what is it? If it's not low self esteem, what is it? What is it? Now, for those of you who are resonating with this conversation, I do have some downloadable content that you can get on my website for a really good price, honey. Less than a coffee, okay? And you can check that out by clicking the link in my bio. I would highly recommend the Sun Solar Reset Guide. It will help you reset your energy and help you transform. And baby, I've done it a few times. You can do it in less than 3 minutes. Thank you so much. You're beautiful. Make sure you check out that guide, guys. I promise you, it will not fail you. It's phenomenal. Okay? And share it with a friend. All right. Back to the message. What is it in you that we need to address to get you to take action on cutting these relationships off? Someone said pew pew. Okay, just shoot it dead, honey. Yes, we need to let them go. With kindness and love. Bye-bye now. So I want you to work on that this afternoon, is identifying the patterns in the relationships that you keep attracting that are no longer in alignment with where you're going. Okay? You need to identify that thread that is being sent out into the universe. For comments like that, you need to be subscribed for me to respond. Thank you, baby. And so I want you to focus on those behavioral patterns that you can identify in your ops and foes. And then I want you to find actionable steps to cut those people off and find more self love. Okay? I want you to focus only on investing in relationship dynamics that are feeding you and elevating your frequency. That is your work today. Okay? And I want to just tell you guys, thank you for rocking with me. We on day 15, okay? We are halfway through our 30 days and we've been doing amazing as a community. Thank you guys so much for coming back every day to these lives, participating, and really being vulnerable. Because this work is real work. It's generational curse breaking work. It's transforming your frequency so that you can reach your highest version. And I'm so happy and grateful that you chose me as your guide in this process. Okay, guys? Have a blessed afternoon, and I'll